Welcome back, my DIY nomads. How are you guys doing today? I'm sorry that I've been away from videos for a week or two or three, or I can't remember how many. Basically, just had a few things going on at home in regards just getting a few things sorted. Nothing bad, nothing negative at all. Just being preoccupied. Plus, I was hoping to have had more boxer videos out by now, but I've got a roof hatch that was meant to be arriving. That was meant to arrive 3 months ago because I was pre-preparing for the boxer build. I couldn't really start until I got that because it's part of the initial stage of fitting the stuff that needs cutting the holes out of the van. So cancelled that ordered another one, it arrived in 2 days. So I just want to be transparent here. I used Leisure Outlet for the first order and I didn't get any, they didn't deliver. It was 3 months, I didn't get a delivery. I'm not trying to take it out on them, but I mean, it's not very good. They did say obviously with the COVID stuff and like low stock issues, so there's like that side of it. So, and I have actually ordered something from them before and they have actually delivered it quite quickly. But I just want people to be aware that obviously some companies, if you order stuff, you might get big delays. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, let's go on to it. Now, because obviously I've chosen to not have any windows on the side, like the more stealth camper look, I need to let in as much light as I can through the roof. And I've gone for the Dometic Heki 2 Deluxe. I picked this up for about 400 to 450 quid, which isn't, you know, I know obviously like if you could get 2 single glaze windows, like one for each side of the van for about 375 quid roughly. So, but the advantage of this is that it apparently is acrylic double glazed. It also has this fly screen and pleated blackout blind built in. So let's get this out and have a look at it. Look at the size of this beast. This is going to be a hell of a roof vent. So I've got a few things to fit today. I want to try and fit this bad boy. I want to try and fit the MaxxFan. I also want to try and fit the reversing camera so that I have an actual reversing camera back in the van because my God, that makes a world of difference. And there's something else. MaxxFan, the roof hatch, the reversing camera. I've got 2 of these 270 watt solar panels. They are pretty big, I'm not gonna lie. We're looking at almost 1.5 meters by 1 meter, but we're going to put everything up there and see how it all fits up. On a complete side note, look at this dragonfly I found. So I've had a look at the layout and it is going to be a pretty tight squeeze. We've got the MaxxFan up there. This is the size of one of the solar panels. And I'm planning to basically have it like almost up at the edge, and then the other one will fit into this gap here. This is actually the wrong way around. I need to rotate this 180 so that the hinges are this end because you can't mount it with this orientation because otherwise when you're driving there's potential for that to like damage it or rip it open. But because the MaxxFan has got quite an extension towards the rear, it's going to be very close, but I'm going to give it as much space as I possibly can. I'm going to fit the MaxxFan today, I'm going to fit the roof vent. Firstly though, I'm going to fit the reversing camera now, just to let my brain think and make sure this is definitely how I want everything. Right, so this is my reversing camera kit. It's exactly the same as the kit I had in the Boxer before. I got this from Dolphin Automotive, and basically you have, in the kit you have your monitor, which you can mount in various different ways. that goes off. This is actually, it comes disconnected, but that clips into this so that it has an AV connection and also a power connection. And then you get the actual reversing camera that is apparently meant to go directly in place where the original light was. We'll see if that actually fits in a second. And then this connection that connects into there to basically convert this to a, what I guess you'd call more of an, is it RCA? Is that an RCA connection? You then have the cable that gets it all the way to the front, bunch of power cables and all that sort of stuff, few accessories, and also this, which I'm guessing is like the, almost like the gasket that goes around the edge to help prevent any more liquid getting in. First job for me though is to remove the light, see if this thing fits, and then, well, get fitting. Once this is out, you'll notice that there are two basically squared off spaces, and they are actually bolted in there. I don't know how easily you can see that, but these are, you need a 10mm socket, and you basically need to grip these from the other side with pliers and then just take them off. Well, that was easy enough. There's even a little bit of boom. So now we're ready. This also actually can be adjusted, so, which is quite cool. In the kit, they provided like a split washers, normal washers, and then wing nuts. I have no idea why in God's name you would tighten this up with wing nuts. I just use the bolts are actually the same size for the nuts that came off the back end of the original light, so I use those instead because they're going to be way better than using bloody wing nuts. The great thing is, this really is like a bolt-in, ready to rock and roll sort of kit. The hardest things I would probably say to do, unless you're fitting this to a van that's already been kitted out, because then it'd be feeding the cable, because that'd be a nightmare. But because I've got an empty van, feeding the cable is going to be easy. The hardest thing is probably actually going to be mounting, or choosing a good place to mount the monitor. The rest of it is just bolt on the new rear view camera, feed the cable, get it to the front, and then eventually I'll connect it to power. I've run the cable from here, and it goes all the way through this channel along here, and then it gets to the end here, comes through this little hole down here, as you can see the excess, and then I don't know if you can see down there, but that little bit of like orangey light, that is the felt sort of like back wall of the inside of the cabin, and I need to go in there, and I'm going to feed this long bit of wire through the hole to grab the cable and pull it down, and I'll show you where I'm feeding the cable. So if you very gently just prise the interior sort of like lining back a bit, you can see some cables, and if you go back to this corner edge up there, that is the hole through to the back cabin. So I just need to feed my bit of wire up, then go into the back again, hook it onto this bit of cable and pull it through, and then I can run the cable along this edge, bring it around here and get it all the way to the front edge there, where I can attach it to the monitor. So this is actually a bit trickier than I thought it would be. Now what I've just done in the background is I've also fed a cable, a positive and negative cable, from around here all the way down to the same point. So I followed the AV cable and it goes all the way to the actual monitor. So I know this sounds weird, but I've actually linked the rear view camera with the monitor on the power cable, and then I split, for the moment, I split it off of this point here to run to, because we've got this inverter in here, I've actually just got like a little power place to basically connect into where the battery is. This is literally just temporary, so I could test it and see if it's working. The cable will stay there and eventually it'll get powered off the leisure battery wherever it is easiest to sort of connect it in. Off the back of the brake light we've got this power cable, the the AV cable that turns into this adapter that then goes off on the yellow, that goes to the AV out to the monitor, and then I had to take this power point and wire it into the cable that I took up here. Then on the original brake line, this is the original cable that powered the brake line, I connected that to this cable on the positive and negative. Now my monitor's getting signal and the brake light only comes on when you actually press the brake pedal, which is great. I've only just realised this, but this marking is the cutout for the roof. And I just measured it and it's a couple mil out, but it's almost bang on. If I just if I cut just slightly inwards from this outside edge, that is the cutout hole that I need, which is fantastic. Well, the hole is now cut. Some of you may be asking, I did go around the edge with masking tape before I made the cut so that I wouldn't scratch the paintwork around the edge. I've also just filed the edge just now, and from basically a bunch of obviously doing conversions before, I've got this leftover, what is it, like glass paint primer from fitting sort of those windows when you get in those Windows kits. I've got a bunch of these left over, so I'm going to use one of these up to go around the edge and seal it in to sort of prevent rust and not have any raw metal on show. Next on the agenda for me is I'm fitting the MaxxFan, so I've chosen this sort of like more raised section here of the actual body of the van, and I've pre-drilled the 4 holes. I'm going to cut these out and then tidy everything up, and then I'm going to fit both the MaxxFan and the Heki roof light all in one go. Right everyone, we've got the Heki roof light. I'm just going to call it the Heki hatch for now. We've got the Heki hatch in place, and this is a little bit different to all of the other roof vents I've fitted so far. So with everything else, I've usually had to stick it down, put the adhesive around the edge of the actual vent itself, put it into the hole, then screw down through the steel, and then that secures it down. This one has a different system. Now on here it has these little brackets, and they basically slide into these grooves here, and it grabs the inside edge and pulls it tightly closed. But you do need to have an actual padded out edge. Now I was going to get onto this. The reason why I haven't already put that in is because Ben isn't around today to help me out with this. So what I thought I would do is I'd get the holes cut out, get the roof vents to this point, and then if I need to add more security by adding like a wood edge, I'm basically going to use these roofing battens. If I needed to add stability, then I could at this point, when I know exactly where the hole's been cut out, exactly where it needs to be, and how much room I have to play with so I don't interfere with any of the other parts. So what I'm going to do now is actually, this works out really well for me because I can glue these. I don't need to do it on this edge because I'm halfway into this supporting rib, so actually that acts as my supporting beam. But the other 3 sides, I need to add basically this bit of wood. I'm going to glue it, stick it, and then use the brackets to pinch it all really tightly together. Once everything is fully secured, I'm then going to go up to the top, and in all of the where it has like peaks and sort of ridges, I'm going to fill in all the gaps where water ingress could happen, and tied it all up. Now, I will go through a little bit of a different process with the MaxxFan, because that one I'm pretty sure I do screw in from the top down through, and I will also have to, well, I don't have to actually technically, but I can add a wood surround edge to add more stability and strength. Also, because there is an actual Newton meter rating for the screw to go in, I switched my drill and adjusted the torque setting. So the MaxxFan is just a little bit different to the Heki hatch. Basically, I've cut the hole out. I just need to apply the Sikaflex all the way around the edge, and then you'll see that there's like little dimples, and these dimples are where you're meant to screw through. So basically, slots in place when you've got the glue in, and then screw through the steel in those points, and then you can attach the MaxxFan on top. One thing to make sure you do is these metal mounting clips, this is the front of the van, this is the back of the van. Make sure they're on the sides. Now the kit does come with actual stainless steel screws, it seems like, but I'm just going to use my own self-drilling, self-tapping ones. Right, the surround is on. Sorry that my camera actually stopped recording for some reason, but I finished it off with all the screws. I also pulled up the masking tape, so we've got a really nice clean edge around the outside. Ooh, a little tiny bit of plastic there, get rid of that. Next job is to actually fit the MaxxFan, tidy up the edge of the Sikaflex on there, and then get rid of all of the steel filings. And I'm sure you've probably heard me 100 times say, if you make sure that you do this on a dry day, and you make sure that you get rid of everything, because all they'll do is they'll get wet, turn to rust freckles, and basically ruin your van. Now I'm using these white-faced sort of screws to screw in the side here. There's 4 of them, and that mounts the MaxxFan down. Well guys, it's another day. We had a really good day yesterday. Obviously we managed to fit the roof, the Heki hatch and the MaxxFan. I need to still go along this sort of front edge of the Heki hatch with some Sikaflex to fill in the ridges where it's like obviously just there's no filler and it's not actually sitting up yet. The MaxxFan though, that's basically done. I obviously can't fit the inside bit of trim yet because there's no interior, so got to wait for that, so I'm going to fill up the front edge and then I'm going to fit that little tiny extractor fan. This is the advantage of using, like either drawing out or using CAD software or something, or basically pre-planning your layout, is that at this stage, when it's easiest to fit all of this stuff like windows, hatches, like holes in the side of the van, you can confidently put things and confidently cut holes in places and know that it's not going to like screw you over down the line. So over here near the MaxxFan, around this area here is where the little tiny extractor fan is going to go, and that's for the shower area. Before we get started on that though, I thought I'd just show you guys my little 12 volt low profile extractor fan that I'm going to put above the shower. This thing's really great. I had it in the previous van as well. Really nice and slimline, very discreet. It basically comes as this with these two pieces here that basically go on the inside, and these bolts bolt through the center hole and pin it through the roof to the extractor fan. This clips over and you can like rotate it so you can have it like almost blocked off or like full flow. The issue I have with this is it needs to cut, if you have a hole saw, it's great because you just cut, which I do have, you just cut an 18mm hole saw hole straight in, Bob's your uncle. But obviously the roof is ridged like this. So what I've done to show you the problem is, because there's the ridge, when this goes into place, when I push that through, you still got it overhanging on both sides, and that means that the water can bounce up on the inside of the rubber seal and then get into the hole. So my plan to get around this issue is I'm going to take off this rubber seal, replace it with a big bead of Sikaflex, and then stick it down, bolt it in, and from the inside, if there's any other gaps, I'm going to seal it in, and that should be golden. So the reason I put these two bits here and then basically bolted through the center is so I can use this face piece that should be on the inside when I've actually got the sealing. I'm using that piece basically to clamp the actual piece down and get it as tight as possible against the roof, so the adhesive has the best chance of like sticking down as properly as it can. But what I did was, just before I did all this, I made sure I went around the absolute edge on the inside as well with some Sikaflex, just to completely seal it and make sure that there won't be any water ingress. Ultimately though, that is a good, I'd say that's one day's work really. If Ben was here, it would have been so much faster, and as I've said before, working in 2s or more makes the job goes so much quicker, not just twice as fast, like 4 times as fast. So that would have been nice, but Ben is away for a few days doing some other work as well. But yeah, other than that, we fitted the rear view camera, we fitted the Heki hatch, we fitted the MaxxFan, we fitted the extractor fan, so it's been a fantastic amount of work done. Let me just quickly run over a few bits. Firstly, in regards to the Heki hatch, Dometic absolutely smashed it. I love this way of fixing in a roof vent or roof hatch, and this is such a good way to do it from the inside, so there aren't screw holes on the outside as well. You just glue around the outside edge, slot it in, and then clamp it on the inside, and it also means that you can use these to, at the same time, glue and affix your surrounding beams, like bits of wood, like you know how I added these bits of timbers here. With the MaxxFan, you can 100% add a wooden timber surround as well, and that would make it sort of stronger and more stable. I've actually found that, to be honest, this seems to be absolutely fine as is. I use some pretty deep threaded self-drilling, self-tapping screws, so they're holding very well. I would say that the one thing that I was most worried about, by only having sort of like windows in the roof and like mainly the only real lights coming through this Heki hatch, because the MaxxFan's got a tinted top to it, I was worried about whether enough light would get in, but actually it's light in here. It's pretty well lit in here without any LED lighting at all. And I'm going to be adding the door in the center of the bulkhead here, which will let in more light from the front. So I think really, actually, this has worked out really, really well. And when this is insulated, it'll be an incredibly well insulated van. That's all from me though, my DIY nomads. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch all of you guys next time.